Shalom Yashrala Yahweh. Brother Malak back with a biblical breakdown. This one is dubbed, you nations, you Gentile nations, you heathen nations. You don't want to return not so much the recompense, but that's going to be returned unto thee. But you don't want to return the compensation and reparations. Reparation and compensation. You nations, you Gentile nations, you heathen nations. You don't want to return the reparation nor the compensation to the house of Judah and the house of Israel. And then your judgment will commence. Then your judgment will commence. I was looking at a visual a couple days ago, and it was going into this one country. I forgot the name. You guessed it. It was a country of Edomites, of course. And they basically said they wasn't returning or giving reparation or compensation to you so-called Hispanics, Native Indians, and Negroes, Blacks, Haitians, Jamaicans, etc., etc., because you are the house of Israel and the house of Judah. By biblical prophecy, by spiritual prophecy. And all of you lapdogs and agent provocateurs, you lapdogs, you will have your day as well. You will have your judgment as well. You know, it's always a Judas Iscariot. It's always some lapdogs, always some agents doing the bidding of the damn devil. You all will have your judgment. Judgment will commence. But reading the prophecy, reading on Psalms chapter 83. It says, a psalm of Asaph. It says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. It says, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee, so they hate Yahweh, these nations. That's about to be mentioned. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. So these devils, and devils mean, or devil means deceiver. So these deceivers have taken crafty counsel against his people, which is the house of Judah and the house of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. Technically 13 tribes because of Dan, the tribe of Dan. We believe through the spirit that the tribe of Dan will be revealed more than likely in the kingdom, if not on this side, before further prophecies commence. So these devils don't want to give the house of Judah or the house of Israel their compensation and reparation. You know, because these nations have basically pushed the affliction when Yahweh brought the affliction upon Israel, as far as sending us to these different lands of exile by the way of prophecy. And like it states in the scrolls, it states that Yahweh, he was wroth with us, the house of Israel and the house of Judah, because we kept going off and breaking the covenant. But these heathens helped push the affliction, forward the affliction. I forget which scroll that is, but that's what they did. And when we was down, they were happy that we was down. So the judgment is going to commence, and they still the same way to this day. I believe majority of them are. a good percentage of them are, majority of these heathens, they still feel the same way. But Psalms 83 verse 2, it says, "For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people." You so-called Negroes, blacks, Haitians, Jamaicans, Brazilians, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Colombians, Cubans, Indians, Seminole Indians, Aztecs, Mayans, all of you Indians and you Negroes, you are the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Psalms 83:3. They have in the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas, they are the Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, and Colombians and the Hispanics today. They never left. Their names has just been changed. This is what this devil does. Changes your name every 4 or 5 years, or he tries to. Because this time we're the house of Judah and the house of Israel has awoken by the way of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. They call you Afro-American, African-American, black. They call you Latin, Latino, Latinx, Latina, Hispanic, Native Indian. All of these bywords and proverbs that the Bible, that the scrolls speak of. But reading on, Psalms 83 says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation." And this is why they do the things they do. That the name of Israel, Jacob is Israel, Israel is Jacob. Remember, our forefather fought an angel, and his name was turned to Israel from Jacob. It says, "May be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted together with one consent." So all of these UN nations, chiefly the bankers, that's really who's behind it, the bankers. "For they have consulted together with one consent." You know, the house of Esau, the house of Edom. Arch nemesis number one. The truth is the truth. Call a spade a spade. Arch nemesis number one. All through biblical prophecy, you see the house of Judah and the house of Esau. The lion, Judah, and the eagle, Esau. And the lion will prevail. This is how this story is going to end. The lion will prevail. The Lion of Judah will prevail. Psalms 83 says, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom," so-called Caucasian man, woman, child. They are the house of Edom, the house of Esau. Or as these Amalekites, you know, another tribe of Edom or Esau, Amalek, you know, the fat noses, the small hats. They are the Amalekites, Amalek, the bankers, Amalekites. Esau. This is the house of Edom. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, that is the so-called Arabs. The Arabs. Ishmael. Of Moab, so-called Asians. And it says the Hagarenes or Harrigan. However, I probably butchered it, but Hagarenes or something like that. It's probably butchered, but I believe there was another stock of the Arabs, Ishmael, and Jebel, the same, and Ammon. We believe that is the so-called Japanese. Moab and Ammon and Moab. Remember Lot's wife. And that's how Moab and Ammon became what they became. And said, and Amalek. another stock of Esau. And, the small hats, that's who Amalek is. Amalek, the small hats, the fat noses, the ones that really run the show, the bankers. When you need those loans, they the ones that's pushing the loans through. Really, they push everything through. Yahweh has given them the little power that he have given them in this time period. Amalek, fat noses, small hats, the ones that run all of the industries. Every industry you can think of, these devils are behind it. The tribe of Amalek, the Amalekites, which is a stock of Esau. So all of these devils have taken crafty counsel. It says the Philistines, those are the Hamites, the ancient Africans. Africans. The so-called African American and the Africans, we're not the same people. Tells you this, these devils even tell you this in their Bible dictionary. Even though it's our Bible, but they created a Bible dictionary of our Bible to break, to go into more depth. And it tells you that Ham, Ham, is the progenitor of all of the dark races, but not the Negroes. And who are the Negroes? When you do your research, you're studying. And not only that, you need the Spirit to be with you. You need the Spirit of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak Kadash. The Rakak Kadash. You need Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. You need the Spirit to be with you, on you, so you can see through the BS. You'll learn that the so-called Negroes, and not only the so-called Negroes, but the so-called Latinos, Native Indians, all of those fathers who goes back to these ancient royal bloodlines, which is Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Naphtali, Gad, Reuben, the 12 tribes, the house of Israel, 13 tribes technically, but the house of Judah, house of Israel. You are the Israelites. The Negroes are the Israelites. The Latinos are the Israelites. The Native Indians are the Israelites. Those whose fathers go back to the house of Jacob. This is how you identify yourself as an Israelite, and through the curses and the signs, which are prophecies, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. But reading on Psalms 83, it says, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, the Philistines, those are other Hamitic stocks. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of La Salah. So all of these nations have taken crafty counsel against us. And this is why they will pay the cost. A great, heavy cost. A great cost. A heavy, heavy cost for what they have done to the house of Israel and Judah. So I forget which nation that it was that spoke on this subject as far as these reparations and the compensation goes, because that's kind of been the house of Judah and the house of Israel's kryptonite, if you will. We have Supermaned all of these nations. We have built and created and constructed everything within all these nations. When you go back and do the research, when you open up the scrolls, all of the lands of captivity that we were exiled in, you'll realize that we created them all. We were the working force of each of those nations. And we built those nations up to what they were. None of these nations were nothing without the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Those great gladiators, the great Spartans, everything. When you go back into it, it's the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Why? Because it's prophecy. We are the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. We make everything taste better, look better. We are the children of Israel, the salt of the earth. So for all of that magic that we have, manifested throughout these nations in these time periods and eras, all the way into this time period and this era, we have not been given, compensation or reparations. Even to this era here, which is the modern Babylon, which is modern day Babylon, America, still haven't been given reparations and compensation. You'll learn to realize once you do research, damn near everything that's here our people created or help push forth to make it exceedingly better. From all of the creations during chattel slavery and slavery itself. Not only that, but even in older time periods, from internet, cell phone, broom, dustpan, GPS, lights, gas, filtration, liquors, alcohols, foods, everything. And let's not even talk about music. Let's not even talk about culture. Let's not even talk about fashion. America's culture and fashion is the way it is because of the house of Judah and the house of Israel, the salt of the earth. This is why you have these Ammonites and these Moabites over there doing K-pop, which is a slice off of hip hop. We influence the whole planet. And these devils know this. The house of Esau knows this. Chiefly Amalek. This is why he does what he does as far as, making us be an influence on what he wants to be influenced within the world. Because he's the devil, the crafty devil himself. So you have these heathen nations doing K-pop. You have these heathen nations. Really, all of these heathen nations are into what Jake is into. Whatever the house of Judah is into, or the house of Israel is into, they're into. Why? Because we influence the world. We're the salt of the earth. It's just that simple, and that's just prophecy. But going back to the topic, reparations, compensation for everything we have done, these devils still won't give us our reparations and compensation. And this is why we, the house of Judah and the house of Israel, when it comes to the wealth gap, as far as this system goes, or as far as these heathen systems goes, because real wealth, we know who the real wealth is. The Bible tells you what's the real wealth. The real wealth, you know what, I'll grab it a little later. I'll show you what real wealth is. The house of Judah, the house of Judah and the house of Israel were the real wealth. It tells you this in the prophet book of Joel, and I'll bring that out as well. But Isaiah 14, let's get back to prophecy. Let's get back to the scrolls. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Jacob is Israel. Israel is Jacob. And will yet choose Jacob, Israel. Israel is Jacob, and set them in their own land. So we're going back to our lands. What is the so-called black man and Hispanic man and Native Indian man true land? Well, that true land is Jerusalem, Israel, Northeast Africa, or North Africa. That is our true land. That is our true homeland. Israel, Jerusalem. And this is why you still have these devils, which means deceiver, over there fighting over the land. World War III has been brewing up for a minute. This is why you have Lebanon and Israel and Iran and everything else happening over there, because those people that's over there in our land are not the real people to begin with, and that is by biblical prophecy. Yahweh told us, he tells us that Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles, by the heathens. And that's what they're doing. the time of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles, the heathens, be fulfilled. And that time is very much so close to an end. But reading on Isaiah 14, it says, "For the Lord, Yahweh, will have mercy on Jacob, Israel, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them." These are the heathen nations, we believe, "and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." And these are going to be some of the heathen that cleave to the house of Jacob, because that's their only way of getting salvation. And it's really, well, we'll say salvation, but it's really, they're being salvaged. But that's their way of pardoning, if you will, to cleave to the house of Jacob, the house of Judah and Israel. And we believe that these are going to be other Gentiles from the other nations, not from America. Now, I will have to do more research and studying on that. But we know that America will be eradicated by nuclear war, missiles, and by chariot fire. What this devil calls the UFOs. They're going to burn America to ashes. And the teaching is that no Gentile out of here will make it on those chariots. If I'm going off the teaching of Elder Tahar and Elder Tahar. But I'll have to really go dig back in there and really search like I've been searching. And studying to show thyself approved like I've been studying to show myself approved. But according to the teaching of our Elder Tahar, Gabar, Ramlah, Rakat, and all of the rest of the apostles and elders on down, that no Gentile is going to make it on those chariots, because the Israelites have to be beamed up. That's a major prophecy when this land gets destroyed. That as soon as the missiles launch over here, and that's according to Ezekiel 38, Ezekiel 37, Jeremiah 51, Jeremiah 50. When these little nations get tired of the bully, which is America, and they turn on the whore, and they send the missiles over here. When those missiles come here, you have all of these missiles coming here towards America. How is anyone going to, make it out? Well, the elect of the house of Judah and the house of Israel will be beamed up into the chariots. They even have movies on this, where it's a couple of movies where they have, so-called black and brown people being beamed up into spaceships and UFOs and whatnot. It's a couple movies out that's like that. And that's biblical prophecy. So, and they only took the so-called black and brown people. They didn't take no one else. But like I said, I will do much more research into that, but I kind of digress. Back to the point, Isaiah 14. It says, so these Gentiles, we believe out of the other nations, they will cleave to the house of Jacob. These are the Gentiles that have realized that, man, everything we have been told is a lie. Everything we have been taught is a lie. Everything that we see, touch, feel is a lie. And so on and so forth. And that the real children of God, or who they ignorantly call God, are the so-called people that society has trained people to look down on and have something to say about. These were the people all along. And that the one that's coming to save the world is a so-called black man. He was never a so-called Caucasian man or quote unquote white man. and his name was never Jesus. The Gentiles, surely, it says, it's actually prophecy. It says, surely the Gentiles shall, I forget it. I can't even roughly paraphrase it because I can't even connect it, but it goes something like, we have been told lies from our fathers and whatnot. And I believe that's talking about the ethnic Gentiles. But they're going to come and learn that everything they have been taught and told is a lie. But reading on Isaiah 14, it says, verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them. So we're going to take these Gentiles and bring them to their place. Well, our place, back to Israel, back to Jerusalem. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So that's future near prophecy. So these devils don't want to bring or give our reparation and compensation. Yahweh is going to take it. He's going to force us to take it, and that by the way of prophecy. Just like these devils have took the world by force, bloodshed, rape, rob, pillaging, lies, deceit. We're not going to take it like that because we don't get down like that. We're the house of Judah, the house of Israel. You know, we do everything correctly and accordingly and righteously. But it will be violence. It will be righteous violence, righteous indignation, righteous judgment. And that's what's going to commence, because these devils are still not giving the house of Israel, God's people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, you're just due. You're beyond just due. You're beyond just due. These devils sit in the position that they sit in because of the deeds of their forefathers. And that's just if you consider this position a position anyway. Because if they knew what they got coming for them, man, if they knew what they got coming for them. And I'm talking about all of the nations that have taken crafty counsel against God's people. I just read the chapter, Psalms 83, but reading on to the next prophecy, the next scroll. Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. This is how you unravel our Bible. This is how you break the Da Vinci Code, unlock the Da Vinci Code. Joel chapter 3, we'll start at, we might as well read the whole chapter. Joel chapter 3 says, for behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah, you Negroes, blacks, Haitians, Jamaicans, African Americans, Judah, we are the house of Judah, and Jerusalem, so-called Native Indians, Latinos, Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Colombians, Cubans, etc., etc. I also will gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahawashaphat. And that is basically World War III. And that's what you see happening right now. Yahweh is bringing these nations down to the valley of Yahawashaphat, judgment, the valley of decision, or decision, I believe, or derision, one of them. We'll get it when I read it. But the valley of Yahawashaphat, or Yehoshaphat, or Yahawashaphat. And that's World War III talk, parable talk. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahawashaphat, and I will plead with them for my people. So this is why World War III is happening. You see, we the prophets, the apostles, the servants, the scholars, the real true scholars, the Bible apostles, the real deal. We know this by the way of spirit and prophecy. And why wouldn't we know it? It's our God and our book. So we have been given back the download of our spiritual possession, if you will, spiritual possession or possessions. So he's going to bring these nations down to the valley of Yahawashaphat and will plead there for his people. So he's going to bring all of these heathen Gentile nations to war one another. World War III. This is what World War III is about. World War III is about the return of the house of Judah and Israel. I'm telling you what World War III is about. On the surface, you think it's about power and land grab and power and who's the next ruler. That's the surface. And none of these heathen nations are going to be the next ruler. The next ruler is going to be who these heathen nations call Christ or Jesus. But his name is Hamashiach, Yahawashi. He's going to be the next ruler. And his co-heirs, his co-parts, his partners, and righteousness, if you will. You know, Esau got the partners in crime. But no, his partners in righteousness, if you will, it's going to be the house of Judah and the house of Israel. And the elect, the 144,000. We are going to be co-heirs with Yahawashi Hamashiach, Yahweh willing. If we are those hopeful elect, those men. Salak. So he's the next ruler. Yahawashi Hamashiach, whom the people in the world ignorantly call Jesus. So that's the surface. On the surface, you may think that's what this thing is about, but the depth, the deep of World War III, the depth and the deepness of this next big war, World War III, is the releasing, is the unraveling of the house of Judah and the house of Israel. I just explained it to you. Joel chapter 3, verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat and will plead with them for my people. He's going to plead with them for his people. Who are his people? We tell you this time and time again. The servants, the prophets, the apostles, we tell you this time and time again who his people are. It's the so-called Hispanics, Negroes, and Native Indians. Indians, Negroes, and Hispanics. Latinos, Indians, Negroes. The black and brown people whose fathers go back to the 13 patriarch sons. If you're including the house of Dan, it says, and he's going to plead with them for my people and for my heritage, Israel, Jacob, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. That's why the land is parted. The land is parted right now. What is his land? His land is Jerusalem, Israel, and it's parted. Got all of that nonsense going down in it. All of the Skittles, rainbow. Well, I'm going to say Skittles because the rainbow had a magnificent symbolism behind it, and these devils butchered that. So you got all of this Skittles behavior going down in Jerusalem. You got all type of abominable acts. They have parted the land. You know, you got Israel over there, the fake Ish. Then you got the Ishmaelites over there, the Arabs over there. So the land is parted, and that's why they over there fighting, trying to get the promised land. And they're not going to get jack squat. I'm just telling you the truth. Joel chapter 3, verse 3, it says, and they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot. So through these times of exile, this is what they were doing. They have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot. So they'll sell the Israelite young men. They'll sell the Israelite young men for little whores and harlots. You know, this is what they were doing. It says, and sold the Israelite young girls for wine. So this is what these nations were doing with the Israelite men and children. And young men and young children and whatever else they were doing. It says that they might drink. And you see this all through the slave movies that Esau bring out. And you read this all through the history. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. Reading on, Joel chapter 3, verse 4 says, yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? And these are, I believe, the Hamites, the Hamitic nations. Tyre and Zidon, the ancient Hamite nations. Because we keep telling you that those Africans, you know, Israel, we used to call them, and we didn't even know at that time, but through the spirit, we knew that we were different people. We used to call them African booty scratchers. That's what we called them, because we knew that we wasn't them and they knew that they wasn't us. So the African booty scratchers, the Africans, them dirty Africans that be over there in those huts doing all of that heathen garbage, you know, drinking cow piss and sticking their heads in cow anuses. Those heathens, those Hamites. You know, it says, in all the coast of Palestine, it says, will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own heads, because you have taken my silver. Here's the real wealth. So you got all this talk about what's real wealth, what's real riches. Yeah, land is wealth. Silver, gold is wealth. Livestock, food, crops is wealth, and slaves is wealth. But chiefly, the real wealth, Yahweh is telling you what's the real wealth. It's the children of Israel. The children of Israel is the real wealth. Why do you think in every nation that we were exiled in, we built up a funky nation and made it to what it was? Because we are the wealth. Joel chapter 3, verse 5, because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temple or your temples my goodly pleasant things. And what is his silver and gold? What is Yahweh's silver and gold? Joel chapter 3, verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, the Greeks, the Edomites, the Edomites, that you might remove them far from their border. What was their border? What was their homeland? Jerusalem, Israel. He got finished talking about the Zidon and Tyre and the Palestines, all the ancient Hamitic nations. Tyre, Zidon, Palestine, those are ancient African nations. Yeah, that's how they came and got us up out of the land. When you read about when we were exiled to the wilderness of Ham, how the Africans, you know, sold us to the Arabs. They all got to pay, man. You all got to pay the piper. All of you heathen nations have to pay the piper, and the piper is coming. The piper is coming, and you devils know the truth. You see the truth, and you still don't want to give us our reparations and compensation. So you definitely gonna pay the piper. It's no more talking. It's no more talking. No more talking. Joel chapter 3, verse 5, because you have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, the Edomites, that you might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them. That's what's happening now. That's what you see happening now. That is the prophecy. Can't beat prophecy. No mortal can beat prophecy. I'll say that again. No mortal can beat prophecy. Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. It's about time. It's about time. It's about time for the house of Judah and the house of Israel to get some get back. It's about time. Get back, get back. Nothing like getting some get back. Getting some get back in a major way. We're getting some get back in a prophetic way. A major prophetic way. Get back, get back. Joel chapter 3, behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them. And those are all of the lands that we're found in. Remember, it says that we were scattered to the four corners of the earth, to the lands of our exile, according to James 1:1, according to Deuteronomy 28:64, Deuteronomy 28:68. Behold, I will raise them up out of the place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So all of those nations, according to Psalms 83, this is what they're about to get. This was coming down the pike. This is what they about to get. This is what's coming down the pike. Joel chapter 3, verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters. Yeah, your sweet daughters. I love the sweet daughters. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken it. So I'm not saying this. This is what who you call God himself. This is what he's saying. For what you nations have done to the house of Judah and Israel, what goes around comes around in a major prophetic way. And you devils, like I said, you devils know the truth, see the truth, hear the truth, and you still don't want to give the house of Judah or the house of Israel their reparations and compensation. Get back, get back, get back. Joel chapter 3:9, it says, proclaim you this among the Gentiles, the heathens, the house of Esau, the house of Ishmael, the house of Ammon, the house of Moab, the house of Ham, the house of Japheth. It says, proclaim ye this among the heathen, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. And that's going into World War III. So this is why World War III is chiefly happening, because it is the releasing of the house of Judah and the house of Israel. That is the depth, the deepness of this next prophetic war. All of that, who's the next power, who's going to be in the next power seat, blah, 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 blah. That's just the surface. That's just surface level talk and understanding. Now you know the deep, because the prophets have told you. The scholars have told you, the real scholars. The Israelites themselves have told you. Let's go into some more prophecy. Isaiah, prophet Isaiah, prophet Isaiah, prophet Isaiah, prophet Isaiah, prophet Isaiah chapter 60. They still don't want to give us reparations and compensation for everything that we have contributed to all of these societies, not just this society here, Babylon, America, but all of the societies that we have contribute within or to. Isaiah 60, it says, then thou shalt see and flow together. And these are future prophecies. Isaiah 60, verse 5, it says, then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy mind shall fear and be enlarged. And that goes into, we should be shocked, because we're going to have the greatest rags to riches story in human history. You want to talk about a rags to riches story? You're seeing it playing out right now. It's when the house of Judah and the house of Israel return back to their God, and he returns back the glory. This is the greatest rags to riches story in world history. Isaiah 65, it says, then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy mind shall fear. We're going to be shocked and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces, the wealth, the prosperity. And we know what the real wealth and prosperity is really the Israelites. But the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. Now, contextually, this is talking about what happened in that time, but the prophecies, the Bible, when you break it down and go into it, they go twofold, threefold, fourfold, fivefold. They go multiple folds. And this is future prophecy. Not only did it happen then, it's going to happen again. It says, all the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of, what is that, Nebaioth? Could have butchered that word, Nebaioth, shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. It says, and the sons of strangers, the heathens, shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 10. Right, in his wrath he smote us. Have we not been smoted? We have been trodden down. The name of Israel, Judah, has been, the crafty counsel has commenced. The land is departed, it's trodden down by the Gentiles. We're in these lower states, etc., etc. When I say this, I'm speaking of as a whole. I'm talking about the house of Judah and the house of Israel as a whole. Of course, you got some Israelites that's according to this system, according to this society's thoughts and ways, that's doing well for themselves. And I say that because what is really doing well? Doing well is following the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and just having the faith of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and knowing this word, being one of the elect. That's what well doing is, being one of the elect and following the faith of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and keeping the commandments to the best of your ability. That's what's really doing well. Dwelling in the secret places of Yahweh, the Ancient of Days. That's what is doing well. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on you. So he's going to look on his children and say, a parent cannot be mad at his children for too long. Your dad or your mom or your dad, they can't be mad at you for too long. The tender mercy, the sweet mercy is going to commence. And that's what's happening now. This is why we have the prophecies of the book. This is why we're awakening. This is why we know who we are. Waking out of that sleep and slumber, breaking down the prophecies. We have the wisdom and the knowledge because he gave us back, he has his mercy. His mercy. It says, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be opened continually. This is future talk. This is future kingdom talk. Therefore thy gates shall be opened continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the heathen, the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So they didn't want to give us our reparations, our compensation. They said, what the hell with the house of Israel and the house of Judah? That's what they're saying. Now they got to pay the piper. Now you got to pay the piper in a major prophetic way. It says, the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. And he tells you what's the face of the place of his feet. He tells you that the heavens is where he dwells, and the earth is his footstool. So he's going to make the kingdom marvelous, and from that, the earth is going to be marvelous and glorious. It says, the sons also of them that afflicted thee. Who are those sons that afflicted us? The house of Judah and the house of Israel. Well, it tells you that in Psalms 83. The sons of Edom, the sons of Ishmael, the sons of Moab, the sons of the Hagarians, the sons of Jebor, the sons of Ammon, the sons of Amalek, the sons of Philistine, the sons of Tyre, the sons of Ashur, all of these these heathens, rather. But the chief son, the chief son that loves to afflict the chief son of Judah and Israel is, you guessed it, the Esau, that dirty eagle, that dirty eagle, that dirty eagle. That dirty eagle. Oh, Esau, the arch nemesis. And like I said in lessons past, if we was to ask Esau who was his arch nemesis, he would say the house of Judah, the house of Israel. He would say we are his arch nemesis. So we both feel the same. But the thing is, we got Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai on our side. That's the difference. That's the major difference. The lion was always regarded to rule the earth. We were always regarded to rule. The salt of the earth was always regarded to rule. The eagle was only regarded to rule for a short season. The lion was regarded to rule the earth for eternity. And that lion is Judah, Israel. And that eagle is the Edomites. And you can say the heathens. But going on back to prophecy, 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 prophecy. Prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. There's no business like prophecy. You know, there's no business like show business. There's no business like prophecy. Prophecy, prophecy, Isaiah. Oh, Isaiah chapter 61. Isaiah chapter 61, prophet Isaiah chapter 61. No reparations, no compensation, where Yahweh is going to take it. Going to take it. It says Isaiah 61 verse 5. It says, and strangers, the heathens, shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the heathen, aliens, shall be your plowman and your vine dressers. So, you know, roles is going to reverse, flip. Just like they have done to us through times and eras and ages past, all the way up to this era now. The house of Judah and the house of Israel, we still work for these damn devils to this day. The Israelites still work for these devils to this day. And it's out of place, because we're not supposed to be working for these heathens. These heathens are supposed to work for us. They're our servants. We're not their servants. We're the children of God, or whom they ignorantly call God. They are to serve us. And some of these heathens, these Gentiles, know this. They know their place on earth. They know what they're supposed to be doing. So I give credit where credit is due. But most of these Gentiles, these heathens, they don't want to serve the house of Israel. And that's why you see the world the way it is, and you see everything the way it is, crumbling, going to despair, garbage, destruction, chemtrails all in the air. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the earth. Chemtrails all in the air, GMOs all in the food, pesticides and herbicides all in the food, fluoride all in the water. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the world. Pesticides, herbicides, GMOs, fluoride, chemtrails all in the oxygen, fluoride all in the water, GMOs, pesticides, herbicides all in the food, fake food, artificial flavors, artificial coloring. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the world. Goddamn people dealing with pornography addiction and porn addiction and masturbation addiction, and people can have sex with robots, and women using toys instead of their husbands, and men using toys instead of their wives. This is what happens when you let a servant rule. When you let the basis of man rule the earth. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the earth. The earth goes into shambles. The devil don't even let the land rest. You're supposed to have land Sabbaths. They're steady digging all in the earth. Mother Earth is tired, stressed, pissed. You keep digging into her, stealing the oil, stealing the minerals, day in and day out, chopping down the trees, destroying the earth. This is what the basis of men does. This is what a servant does to the earth. These devils were never made to rule. Really, they were really never made to rule, but they only came into rulership because of the iniquities that the house of Judah and the house of Israel has done. You know, you fake money, this money that you get up and go work your behind off. It's not even real money. It's not even backed by gold, nor is it backed by silver, nor is it backed by any metal for that matter. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the world. All of these fast food restaurants killing you. You wonder why you're sick. and you wonder why you feel like a degenerate. Poison, pumping poison all through your neighborhoods, pumping poison all through your TV screens, poison. This is what happens when you let a servant rule the world. This is what happens when you let an Edomite rule the world. And then you may have some Edomites that say, man, it's not us. We're in the same boat as you Israelites. It's the 1%. It's the global elite. Well, the so-called global elite. It's the so-called global elite. It's the bankers. It's the deep state. They're the one that's doing this, man. We're just like you guys. It's still your people. Do you hear that? It's still your people. It's not our people. It's still your people. Those are white, pale faces inside those offices, behind those doors, and those sky rises, at those round tables, pale faces, so-called white people, Edomites, Caucasians, still your people that's manifesting this wickedness on the earth. So I don't want to hear the excuses. Isaiah 61, it says, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the aliens shall plow your plowmen and your vine dressers. It says, but you shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. You shall eat the riches of the heathen, and their glory you shall boast yourselves, just like they boast themselves today. For your shame shall you have double, for our shame that these devils have done unto the house of Judah and the house of Israel. We're going to get double the fame, double the glory. And for confusion, the lies that were, negotiated, done, the crafty counsels. It says they should rejoice in their portion. It says, therefore in the land they shall possess double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. Who is the them? The them is the house of Judah and the house of Israel. It says, for the Lord, Yahweh, loves judgment. He hates robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. So our covenant has never, ever been eradicated. The covenant is everlasting. We can go through precept to precept to precept to precept to prove that. This is why we keep telling you stupid Christians and you other branches of Christianity that the house of Judah and the house of Israel is still intact. The covenant is perpetual. It's a perpetual covenant that he made with us. But they don't like to study to show thyself approved. So they fall for the garbage. Revelations chapter 13, verse 9 through 10, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. It says, he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. And who has led captivity? Don't worry, I'll wait. We know who has led in captivity. You got pictures of him leading in captivity. He came to West Africa, made negotiations with the Arabs, made negotiations with those Africans, and grabbed the Israelites from West Africa, the house of Judah. He that leadeth into captivity. And then he came all the way over here to the Americas and grabbed the house of Israel, the 10 tribes that were here in sweet Turtle Island. This was a beautiful place, Turtle Island, sweet, beautiful Turtle Island, a paradise filled with gold and silver and whatever else that Yahweh blessed this place with. And the islands, the Caribbean islands, all of this stuff was marvelous, beautiful. And then he brought his Edomite self over here. And then he led into captivity Christopher Columbus, pilgrims, and all of the villains and wicked individuals that he brought over here. And you should know how that story went and ended. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And who are the saints? The saints will forever be the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Those are the saints. The saints are the Israelites. The Israelites are the saints. The saints are the Israelites. They will never be no other people. The saints are always identified as the house of Judah or the house of Israel, aka the Israelites. And right now, you wonder why America is falling, because it's Judgment Day. It's judgment time. And then Yahweh tells you that the blood defileth the land. This land is so defiled with blood, innocent blood at that. The land is defiled with blood. What is that? Numbers 35. Let's grab more prophecy. Numbers. Numbers chapter 35. Numbers chapter 35. You see, we the prophets, the servants, the apostles, we give you truth. Precept upon precept, line upon line. The truth, the true gospel, true prophesying, true prophecy. We can match everything up to day. You will know who the true prophets and servants and apostles were and are before that great and horrible day of judgment. Numbers 35, Numbers, where are you? Numbers. Numbers 35, verse 33. It says, moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. And you should take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land. And this is talking about the house of Israel, our laws and statutes within our society and with our people. And you should take no satisfaction for him that is fled to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land, and to the death of the priests. The point, Numbers 35, verse 33. So you shall not pollute the land. So how do you pollute the land? Where you are. For blood, it defiles the land. And the land cannot be cleansed or cleaned of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him or her or them or they that shed it. So America is defiled. And this is why this place is going to be eradicated. And not only by the blood of the Israelites, this land is defiled by it, but of you heathen nations. This devil gets down and dirty. He kills his own people and he kills you other nations. So he has defiled this land really with everybody's blood, not only the chosen people. With that, I want to say, Call Halam La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, the water Yahweh, the water Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash, Barakata Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash.